Right, call out to no power. In the conservatory. Adding on, so just put it here. Have a look behind. Just instead there was a fishy smell, so hopefully. Looks alright. Classic screw in the timber. The connections look alright in the back. However, the front I can see. I just tried to pull the fuse carrier out and it just snapped out. Focus in, focus in. Looks like it's been getting hot. Replace the fuse spur, I think. Right, so the client showed me around the conservatory and the garage. That fuse spur feeds a few sockets in the conservatory, a spur to feed the lights, and also off that same fuse spur, because I thought it was a ring in the fuse spur, and then a single cable out to do the conservatory, but actually it's a single cable in from the ring to feed the fuse spur, and then it's two 2.5s, one that goes to the conservatory and one that goes down to the garage, which he's got a car charger plugged in and fully charging all the time. And or he just got it, you know, a few months back, and it's burnt out. So I'm gonna change the fuse spur and tell him not to plug his charger in. And he understood, he can see, I showed him, and so hopefully, well, he wants me to do a quote to run a new cabling from the fuse board down to the garage. Right, let's find a fuse spur temporarily, get this fixed, back on. Alright, so I've swapped the fuse spur over to a new one. Power's back on, they're happy. The charge point that they've got in the garage, it's like a trickle charge, but he uses it as his main source of charging for the electric car that he's got, and it's like, you know, almost 3 kilowatts. But he uses it as his main way of charging his vehicle, not like a proper, you know, station in, you know, like a car park or in a workplace charger. He's using that trickle charge as his main source of charging. So it's pulling that almost 3 kilowatts. He says he charges it 4 or 5 times a week. I'm just trying to get this fuse out to have a look behind, because it looks so burnt out. But there's a common misconception or problem with charge points and trickle chargers, people using them as their main source of charging their vehicle. Cool, I am having trouble here, aren't I? There we go, finally got it out. You can see some thermal damage there, and it made the plate fuse carrier brittle. He's had it for a few months, and he's been charging it, his main car, as the main source of charging for 4 to 5 times a week for 4.5 to 5 hours. But anyway, I've swapped the spur out, and he wants to go ahead with a quote to send a 6mm armoured cable from the fuse board down to the garage and change the existing consumer unit. It is a new build house, but change it, because it obviously has got Type AC, RCDs, etc, etc. So upgrade the consumer unit, Type A RCBOs, surge protection, 6mm down to the garage. And this was just a quick call out, you know, so I'll book them in for a few months' time. And yeah, get him to leave a review for me. On the subject of call outs and charging, what amounts people are charging and what you think you should charge, etc, etc. For call outs, in my opinion, it's absolutely got to be worth my time to leave my family, right? Or it's got to be worth me sacking off an existing client who may be waiting for up to 6 weeks for me to get to do their job. It's got to be worth that hassle to rearrange that. All my work is pretty much planned. I don't do call outs. I think I did 3 last year. I charge a lot of money for a call out because it's got to be worth me leaving my family. My kids are only young once. I'll always be able to earn, and they're only young once. So it's got to be worth it. And I mentioned rates years ago, and one of 2 things happen. Either they are shocked and go, "Oh my goodness, how can you charge that much, you cowboy?" and get on their high horse. Or they say, "Oh, you're not charging enough, you should be loads more than that." And so it just causes like arguments and bad feelings. So I just stopped bother talking about it. You charge what you feel you're worth. And you have to remember all these running costs and the tax and stuff that's got to come off. You know, when you take your 20% off or whatever. You know, I'm not a businessman, but you've got to factor in all these things and what you get at the end of the day in your pocket. It's got to be worth that. And I, like I said, I'm not a businessman, and perhaps I could run my business more efficiently, but I'm happy. It's just me. At the moment, I've got 3 young kids. I don't need stress of growing and getting bigger and bigger. I'm happy with what I charge. I'm happy with what I earn. I allow enough time and enough money on every job to do it properly, correctly, and to a high standard. I'm polite, I'm courteous, I'm prompt, all these things, and it's served me really well. I don't need a business course. I don't need a business course to tell me how to run my business. And I'm sure there's more to it than that, than being polite and courteous and doing a job to a high standard, but that goes really well. That does really well for me. So yeah, I see a lot of busy fools. I see a lot of busy fools running around for next to nothing. And like I said, I've done like 3 call outs last year. I just very rarely do them. On this occasion, I happened to be free and a couple of hours free, so I went and did it, and the client agreed my price beforehand, so it was worth it. And I ended up getting a little bit more work out of it, which is great. So that was a nice little bonus. And I'm not the best, far from it. You know, there's plenty of better sparks out there than I am. Probably plenty of better businessmen than I am out there. But I'm happy. I do my thing. People really like sparks. Respect it. My work, my ethic, and my standard. Clients are really happy with my work. And I'm absolutely happy. I'm fair, and I'm busy. I'm booked up. I'm generally booked up about 8 weeks in advance. That's how busy I am, and that again is a bit of a double-edged sword, because sometimes I do feel a bit rubbish, thinking, "Oh, flipping hell, my life's planned out 8 weeks in advance." And then sometimes I like that. I think about it. I go, "Oh, I've got security. I've got 8 weeks worth of work up ahead." So yeah, I very rarely have time for call outs. Don't want to do them, and I don't like upsetting existing clients. I like being planned out. It works better for me and my family, school runs and things like that, to be a bit more planned out. And yeah, I get the odd last minute change, and I appreciate projects can run over and you can come up with hiccups and stuff, but I allow for that in my pricing quotes, and I do have gaps near jobs, either ends of jobs and stuff like that, just in case. Just plan it out a little bit better. So yeah, that's my that's what I charge and how we go about running my tiny little business.